right now. You good? Go ahead.
Okay. Hey, Shalom.
Shalom.
Kahalal Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai.
Mahalal,
Bahashim Rakah
Yahweh,
Hakodash.
Hashem, Karkadash.
Khan. All right, this is GMS Joplin and GMS Jeff City. And listen, we have a word that, hey, man, we're going to get right into it, man, because the Most High is operating. And, a lot of times you just got to press record and, just let the spirit, flow and get these scriptures out, too. So the brother had a title, too. And, Kuala, what was the title? Shooting the gaps.
It says it's cold. Go to the gaps.
It's cold. Go for the caps. Conbra, I got
To the gaps.
gaps too. I always
Yeah,
think about
and
too in
double honest to our
football.
apostles and elders, man. And definitely double honest to you brothers out there, or you brothers out there on the highways and byways, kicking the truth and with all sincerity, honesty, and faith, man. We in that time, man. But
Con,
yeah, it's cold. Go to the gaps.
con.
Why
Yeah, I
this
got a
lesson
scripture.
came,
I
why this
got a
lesson
scripture,
came to
man,
mind
too. It
is
made me.
because you're gonna have a lot of these camps that they're gonna fall to the wayside when it comes to this cold, man. They're not gonna go up and feed the sheep, because it's getting cold or whatever kind of reason they have, man. You know what I'm saying? In our power in these days, we got to try to the best of our abilities. But a lot of the sheep don't get fed in the wintertime, man. You know what I'm saying? The wintertime when it comes to IUIC, ISUPK, I mean, if some of those groups go out, hey, shit, we trying to get up out of here, man. More work, hey, more work. We're not knocking laborers at the work, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Hey, man.
Go ahead, bro.
Oh, Salakia. Yeah, I was thinking about if you ever worked a shift, if it's something where teamwork is involved with you leaving, you'll hurry up and help uh help get on somebody else's station or help somebody else out so everybody can leave. Some places have a like say it's restaurant or food or something like in that area. Man, they wait for everybody to leave before they lock up. So that has and football too. When football was shooting the gaps, they always say, if you're on offense looking for that quarterback or looking to blitz, you shoot the gaps too, man. But those things come to mind when I think about this scripture too.
Yeah, man, because we're in the time of we gotta put plaster on the cracks. We got to get ourselves right as much as possible, man, because we're not gonna have the internet like we got it these days. It's gonna be a scarce commodity, man. So that's why we look towards these times to get ourselves right. But once this title says, look, man, go to the gaps, go to the hedges, man, because Israel's still out there in the wintertime committing wickedness. So you take a break off in the winter, Israel's still being wicked as hell, man. So you go ahead and get that precept for me out.
Con, yeah. This is Ezekiel chapter 13, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
It says, "Ye have not gone up into the gaps,
Con.
neither made up a hedge for the house of Israel to stand in the battle in the day of the Lord."
See? Start from one again for me, all right?
Verse 1. This is Ezekiel 13, verse 1.
Or go to the top, or actually start from the top of 5. Just start from the top.
Okay, this is
Or
Ezekiel.
actually start at 3, 13 and 3.
Yeah, three got some good on it. This
Yeah,
is Ezekiel 13 and 3. Thus saith Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, woe unto the foolish prophets that follow their own spirit and have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
O Israel, thy prophets are like the foxes in the desert.
See, and a fox in the desert is that's a scavenging animal, man. Okay? A fox in the desert is like into a scavenger. It's an opportunist, man. Okay, a fox in the desert will because there's not a lot of food around. There's not a lot of so-called nutrients. So a fox in the desert is likened unto a opportunist. So a lot of our people, especially the so-called leaders you see in Israel today, they're opportunists, man.
Con.
The scripture where it says that the Lord delay is coming, and they begin to beat the servants
That's right.
because if they're not seeing the Lord come. So what are they doing now? They're beginning to they might not be physically beating Jake, but they're spiritually beating Jake. When they tell you that the mark of the beast is Christianity, it's a name, it's an embargo, or Esau can make it. That's beating. That's worse than the strike. Because if you believe that Esau can make it, you don't have the full garment on. You don't have your full wedding garment on. That can cost you salvation, man.
Con.
Same thing with
Con.
the mark of the beast. If you believe that the mark of the beast is an embargo and you take that shit, that can cost you salvation, man. That's worse than somebody beating your ass. If you got the ass whooping, but you still got the name of Yahweh Shem Yahshua and the truth, you're gonna be saved, man.
Con. That makes a lot of sense, brother, because um, the thing is that when people hear about this word and they end up getting on we were just talking about it, man, which is the scriptures talk about the sweet and then the bitter.
Mm-hmm.
They only really honest and truly they only want to be prophesied smooth things, as the scripture says in Isaiah. And that speaks a lot because you ever hear people whenever they say, all right, man, I got some good news and bad news.
Yeah.
What you want first, right? They'll be like, yo, give me the bad news. So you tell them the bad news. They're listen, they're inquisitive, they want to know. But then after hearing that bad news, all in all, at the end of the day, they just want, well, what's the good news then? I mean, if that's the bad. So at the end of the day, we're designed to want to know. That's why a lot of people have their churches, good news. They speak about the gospel as just the good news. All right. People want
the prosperity doctrine.
that prosperity doctrine. It's exactly right. Um, Believe, achieve, receive, and they only took all these principles straight from the scriptures, straight from the men of the Most High. So straight up, man, they make me sick whenever they I was just bringing up an account on Sundays growing up in the Caribbean. People would blast their like Southern gospel music as loud as possible, and it was a way of like actually doing like the what's it called, the philanderies for yeah, con. It's just a way of proclaiming this self-righteous situation, this whole thing, so yeah, man, people ultimately they want to hear, they really want to know about the good, really nothing else.
Yep. And this is the word for foolish, right? I looked up the word foolish in verse 3, and the word there is Nabal. It's Nabal, okay? And the word there for Nabal is actually the word, yeah, the first word is Nabal, and it says foolish, senseless, fool, right? Foolish. But then you go to the root word of Nabal, and the word there is Nabal. It's the same way, but it puts that E there, so it's still Nabal. And it says to be senseless, be foolish, to regard or treat as foolish,
Mm-hmm.
to treat with contempt, to sink or drop down, languish, wither, fall, fade. So they being foolish, they're languishing, they're dropping down, they're sinking themselves, man. They're withering. Because when they don't go out to the gaps, man, and they don't go for Israel, they wither away. Man, it says when Paul said that we are bondmen unto this or yoke fellows, that's not a light terminology to use. When you call a brother your yoke fellow, that means he's under bondage with you. He's under that yoke, man. We're
Con,
all, if we're hopefully the elect and hopefully to try to go to that level, man, we got to be, man. Yahweh Shai did great things, man. You know what I'm saying? So we're bonded and we're entrapped in this thing. It might feel like that's why it says in the scripture. I think it's in Apocrypha where it says that it feels like a chain, man. But some will bear it and they'll throw the chain off. But that same chain is going to be used as a weapon, which is going to manifest itself in the spiritual power here in a little bit. So
con,
the same burden that you like, oh man, damn man, or Nate or all these other characters, they don't want to. When it comes to wintertime, that's when you gain the best. When you gain the best stripes, if you want to say that.
con,
You know? But it says to sink down, drop down, languish, wither, fall, fade, to sink or drop down, fall, wither, fade, to drop. So that word really foolish is nabal, which means to drop down, man.
con, con.
Go ahead, bro.
Oh, I got a precept. So that
Ah,
scripture on verse 4, which
uh-huh.
it says Ezekiel 13 verse 4 says, "O Israel, thy prophets are like the foxes in the deserts." And then that's when it goes into ye are not into the gaps.
Yep.
This is Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 15. It says, "Take us the foxes, the little foxes that spoil the vines, for
Ooh,
our vines have
hold
tender
up,
grapes."
hold up, hold back. Read it again, Doc. Read it again.
That's why they always say one bad apple could spoil the
Well,
bunch.
bunch, yeah, yeah.
You
Hey,
know,
read that from the top for me, Doc. Bob Shah.
Con. This is Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 15. And it says, um, and this is response to Ezekiel 13 and 3, which says, and 4, Israel, thy prophets are like the foxes of the desert.
Uh-huh.
Song of Solomon 2 and 15 says, take us the foxes, the little foxes that spoiled the vines, for our vines have tender grapes.
Ooh, so that's Israel. Israel
Con,
is a representation of the tender grapes. Okay, and the foxes a representation of the of supposed to be the heads, man. Just like the guys you see out here that's claiming to be Israel from Zabak, and we at the end of the day, we just want Jake to do the work, man. We're not over here knocking you and then you do the work and we're gonna keep knocking you. If you do the work, we ain't got nothing to say to you.
con,
You don't got to be mad at us and talk shit on us. If we going off on a point it out, and we'll assess it, running through the scriptures, and through the spirit, we'll fix that. But we're telling you that look, man, the hour is close. Why would you take this time off? You ain't ready to go home. You ain't
mm-hmm.
ready to go home. We they some of these guys they got a shirt that we got next. How you gonna get next if you don't do the work, man?
We got next. Hey,
That's like a nigga standing on the basketball court saying we got next, but he go to the damn subway and grab a sandwich, and the game is over. What you think gonna happen to that dude's spot?
you only taking over.
Exactly, man. We got next, but you at Subway.
I got a scripture, brother. That's
Yeah,
another precept.
let him ride.
Con, this is Psalms 80, chapter 13. It says, the boar out of the wood doth waste it, and the wild beast of the field doth devour it.
And
All
that
right.
goes into what? These heathens. These
Con,
heathens are likened unto that wild beast. They're likened unto the boars because they come into the vineyard, and I think that's in Isaiah where it says, "My vineyard, I shall take away the hedge." I got that precept too. But these other nations come into our the Lord's vineyard, which is Israel, and spoil it.
that's
They got
exactly right.
they got Jake wanting to be Kemet. They got Jake wanting to be Hindu. They got Jake wanting to do all types of other shit besides be what they are, man.
Con, con. You know, uh, I had another precept too, brother.
Oh,
Actually,
bro, finish that. Read that last one you just got. That song.
con. Yeah, I'm gonna read it, and then I got the verse right after it.
Yeah,
It
con.
says, Psalms 80, verse 13. The boar out of the wood doth waste it, and the wild beast of the field doth devour it. Verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
Return, we beseech thee, O Most High of hosts, look down from heaven and behold and visit this vine. And
Ooh. Now get now get Psalms 106 and 26.
Khan, Khan.
Hey, real quick, real, because the Lord is hearing, and that was a prayer to say, Lord, come and hear the language and the pain of this vine, which is
Hmm.
Israel. That's showing you that the Lord is only dealing with Israel, because He's describing the other nations as boars and wild animals and the other wood. When it says He came out the tree of the wood, because there's a scripture where it says, "I see men as trees." So the trees are the other nations, the other people that the boars came out of. But it could have said the boars came and spoiled the grapes or spoiled the land, but it says it came out of the wood. What is the wood? The people, the other nations.
Khan. Hey, just like that song they got that I believe is Louis Armstrong. Louis Armstrong. He says, "I see trees of field. I see trees of and fields, red, blue, and white. You know, uh, the dark blessed day." And he's talking about people. And what I think to myself, what a wonderful
What a
world. You know what I mean?
wonderful day. Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So that's really what he's talking about. And this, but they, like I said, they get all this from the scriptures. You know, they get all this from the scriptures, brother. I believe it might be Louis. Um,
I
yeah,
think Louis
trees.
Armstrong trees.
God,
Yes,
God.
YouTube a hitter. But hey, it's right here, bro. Let me see. Yep, right here it says, "I think that I shall never see a poem lovely." It says, "Oh, a tree that looked at God all day and lift up her leaves, arms to pray, a tree that
Woo!
may in the summer wear yea, and the nest of robins in her hair."
Eh, They're talking about this. He's going through the seasons. Nesta ramen, like that, that hay, that straw. You know what I'm saying? So the summer, the a nest of robins in her hair. You know what I'm saying? It's talking about people, man. It's talking about the earth. It's talking about, and we inhabit the earth. The scripture says, um, uh, that basically we are. He is the vine, and we are his branches. All right. Or yeah. Um, what do they call him? Sachimo. I believe that was
Yeah,
his
yeah, his
name was
stage name.
Sachimo, something like that.
Yep, it says this is another though that I think the wonderful tree says, "I see trees of green red roses. Do I see them bloom for me and you? And I think of myself, what a wonderful world. I see
Uh-huh.
skies of blue and clouds of white, bright, blessed day, the dark, scared night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world." Woo!
Come,
That show you Jake is the people of the Bible, man. The same way
come,
Louis Armstrong is spitting in this lyric, that's the same how the Bible is written, man.
come, come. Yeah, you gotta, the Bible is written because it's so precious, and it's always compared to a woman. Now, there's people that want to say that Sophia was far as was wisdom, but that is like I believe a Greek goddess or deity, but still it is always showed that wisdom
It's feminine.
and is
Feminine,
like a woman. It's your woman,
feminine trait.
right?
Feminine
Because
trait.
Khan, and that's your woman. You got to care, and that's what Songs of Solomon, Proverbs, they're written like poems, like love poems, a lot of them,
Yeah.
because talk about the Most High and talking about uh so in love with it, because if you can't be in love with the fact that you realize at its very best, whenever they try to pump you up with this like Boricua nonsense if you're Puerto Rican or Dominican Republic, or if you're so-called black African American and I was a king and you Hotep and all this stuff. They've tried to they've given you all these things where if it wasn't for you being the elect or the hopeful elect, you would have easily been deceived. Why wouldn't you? You know?
A lot of us was in the churches. A lot of us was believing on Cesare. A lot of us was eating worshiping Christmas and Thanksgiving, and a lot of us was in that, man. That's how the Lord is so powerful that He let us taste of that, but then He brought us out of it. You know what I'm saying? That He brought us out of. That's why you can't have pride in this truth. Pride in this truth is an oxymoron, because if it wasn't for the Lord and His mercy, you'd be still out there eating fucking hog maw and shrimp and rolling up blunts, man. You still be breaking down the loud, putting it in the L and twisting it up like nothing was going on, nothing was wrong, and you didn't know how close to fucking death you was, man. That's the mercies of Yahweh Shem Shai, man. So that's why pride has no place in this truth, man. That's why you esteem, and when you understand that, then you start esteeming. Then you can't esteem a brother more than yourself if pride's in the way. You can't do it. That's why you gotta have all that. That's why you gotta become a new man. You gotta put all those things to the side. Then you can love your brother. You can't love your brother if that old man is still there. You can't love your brother. That means you're not gonna be able to excel in the spirit, man. You know, but go ahead, read that out, and then we're gonna move to these precepts.
Oh, Khan, and it had a little bit more meat on it. Verse, one more verse.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Wait, here we go. Psalms 80. That's the spirit. Turn right to it.
Yeah.
Psalms 80, verse we had 13, 14, and verse 15. And it says, and the vineyard which thy right hand hath planted, and the branch that thou madest strong for thyself.
For thy what?
For thyself.
For thyself. So that's why we are being redeemed. We're not being redeemed. The Most High, we belong unto the Lord. Israel is great to exalt the Lord. The Most High didn't give niggas ability to run fast because that so they can get a contract for the NFL. The fuck is the NFL? The Most High created you and the skills that we have to glorify Him.
God.
Vice versa, because what's going to happen when we glorify the Lord in our fullness, the Lord is going to glorify us. He's going to turn around and glorify us.
God, that's right.
See how that relationship is supposed to work? He created a people that is so great that they're going to be able to hold His name and make it and that us having His name, and that's why it says in Isaiah that we will go up and learn of His ways in Israel. These other nations are going to come and learn of the Lord through us. They're not. That's why you're gonna have caravans and smorgasbord of tributes. They're gonna bring all types of forces: gold, silver, spices, rum, wine. They're gonna take it as an honor to do that to us because we're gonna be the epitome of what it is to be a man on the planet Earth. You're gonna have Moabites going hard. They're gonna have their meat trees tied tight.
They're gonna have what, brother?
They're gonna have you know what I'm saying. They're gonna have Hebrew garments, and you know what I'm saying. They're gonna try to emulate us, just like right now. If you look on the EU, what do you see? You see other nations wearing